Hey everyone, this is Zach with SuiteCG. I have a new update video, and we really hope that this is the last update video before our initial release. I just want to show you about what we've been working on with the sponsors, which is kind of the final key piece. And then when we release, then shortly after that, we'll have a couple new features to roll out. And then proceed to add new sports and things like that. So very lightly, just want to touch on this interface that you're seeing here. This is our generic interface, and if you've watched our previous videos, you've noticed like baseball, we have a very baseball-centric UI or user interface, and then for basketball, we have a UI for that. We are going to be working on a soccer UI and volleyball and American football and all of that. But for the meantime, we have a generic user interface that just kind of throws all of the different controls out at you. You have your macro buttons here, your counters, your toggles, and your clock controls here. And then the generic UI will be something that you can use as a customer to if there's a sport that you want to cover that we do not have a control interface for yet, you can use the generic UI to design something yourself. Not as easy on the eyes as something specifically designed for the sport, but it'll at least get you all of the controls in one place so you can get going and not have to wait on us to implement a user interface for that specific sport. So right now I've got a soccer session opened up here. It's in the generic UI. And then I've got my soccer score bug over here. I'll show you that a little bit here. And then I'll use this score bug and graphics package to show you the new features we've added for the sponsors. So the first thing I want to show you here, I'm going to increase the size of this score bug just for the demonstration here. We have our tagline here. You've seen this before. We used to call it custom text. Now we've changed it to tagline. And we've streamlined our controls for the score bug so you can customize it. The tagline is found here under match details. And if you don't want to show it, now you can right click the score bug and you can just say disable the tagline. Or if you want it back, then you bring it back. And then down here we have the marquee. So let me come on over here to our sponsors and marquee tab. We have our marquee listed here, and this is a place where you can just add new lines of text. And then I'm actually going to change that to 5 seconds. I'll keep that at 0 for now. We'll get to that in a minute. And now if you come over here to the game status, under marquee control, now you can play or pause or advance the marquee manually or select items from the drop-down box here. So right now I'm going to come to the first item here, and you can see it change on the bug. Click play, and then you'll see the marquee update, and you can just set that to play and it'll play throughout your entire game. If you want to add new content as the game proceeds, you can do so there. And if you decide that you don't want it to rotate automatically at all, you can pause it, you can manually advance it, or you can leave that line of text there as long as you want, and then just kind of pick and choose through as the game goes. So you have a couple different options there. And if you don't want the marquee there at all, right click on the score bug and hide the marquee. I'm going to bring that back for now. Then we have the sponsor carousel, which works along the same lines, but the sponsors are implemented in there's quite a few more options for the sponsors than there are with just the marquee. So first of all, sponsors are listed here. I went ahead and added a bunch of sponsors based on the, I'll use sponsors in air quotes, So all the different production systems that we work with, this isn't an exhaustive list. These are just the ones that I was able to come up with in a short amount of time, and I just grabbed these descriptions here off their Twitter feeds or website. So what you can do here is you can put in the sponsor name, add a logo, website, phone number, or Twitter, anything you want there, and then you have what we call a live read, and there's a reason we'll implement that here in a minute. And then you can import or export these. So you could export this and then bring it into a new game session for your next event. So you don't have to re-enter all of this stuff for every game. So if you have your sponsors lined up for sports season, create this at the beginning of the season, and then you can just import it. And then you can even create, once the product releases and we have a full-fledged tutorial video series, I'll show you how to create a brand new session template. So then you don't even have to import this. You can just create a new session when you launch the program, and it'll have all the content there that you want. So we've got our list here. If you want to move things around, change the order, you can click an item here and use these buttons to move it around, or you can select here and then delete it. If you want to add an item, you click the plus and it'll add it to the bottom of the list. So that's how you get all of the sponsor information in. We also have here under match details, we have a company logo that we've added so that you can use that in a way I'll show you here in just a minute. So we've got the score bug, and you'll notice here we've got a sponsor showing up here. We got the Wirecast sponsor. I'm going to come over here and I'll just select like the TriCaster. You notice that changes. So this graphic right here is tied to the sponsor carousel. So the idea here is you launch your score bug, and the sponsor carousel just pops out of it, and it's there the entire game. And like everything else, if you don't want it, right-click the score bug button and deselect the display sponsor carousel, and it goes away. I'm going to keep it there for now. And then as the carousel plays or you manually advance, oh, and I can't manually advance here. That's a good thing. I tried that because I wanted to show you this. The play and pause controls here for both the sponsor carousel and the marquee control will gray out if your timer value is 0. So I'm going to change this to 5. Come back over here, and now you can see the buttons are here. And I should actually say the latest build, which I don't have installed for this demonstration, the play and pause button are merged into one now. So these buttons are all a little bit wider, and you'll see the play button or you'll see the pause button. You won't see them both at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for now, and you will see the live stream logo show up. I'm going to pause that. And then you can manually select the sponsors as you see fit, if you so desire. So let's say you don't want the sponsor on the score bug itself. You want to have a separate bug. I'm gonna scale this down a little bit, and then I'm actually gonna. So with the score bug, you can change the X and Y axis. And I'll come back to that in just a second. I'll show you why that's important, because you may want to position it differently. So we have this button called corner bug. I'm going to select that, and right now you can see the company logo right here. Come in, and let's say you want to change the location of that. Well, right-click the bug. The default location is the bottom right, but if you want to display it on the top, you can select that. If you want to display it on the left, you can do that. But then you can come in and you can modify. Oh, I get my X and Y update confused. So you can do that. In fact, I'm gonna bring that scale down there. So you could do that if you want. You can move it to any corner that you want. I'm going to bring it back to the default here. And then if you decide, you know what, I don't want my company logo there, or actually before we do that, if you want to show it as a watermark, you can display it at 50% there. But if you decide you don't want the score bug to also have the sponsors and you want the sponsors to be independent, then you can change this, change the corner bug to be your sponsor bug. And again, all of those controls work the same way. So you can do that. And then it responds to the carousel controls. So that's what we've got going on there. The last thing I want to show you here is I'm gonna reset that back to the top corner there. Gonna bring this back to the main bug. For individual live reads, if you remember, we have these live reads here. We have this feature here to show sponsors in a full screen. Now in soccer, since there's no timeouts, you really don't have a good opportunity to show a real true full screen like you would in like basketball or football or other sports. So the concept's still the same, but we have created this little side bug for thanking sponsors. And so then you can still have all of the game appearing over here, and you're not really missing much of the action. And then you can select which sponsor you want to talk about. A cool feature we have here, now right here you're seeing the NDI feed, but what we can do here, we can display the live read over the built-in preview monitor. So then when you select the sponsor, you can see the live read. So if you're working in a very small production environment and perhaps your color commentator is also running the graphics and the laptop's right in front of them, they can just pull it up right there. They don't need to go searching for a sheet of paper with their live read on it. It's just right there on the screen in front of them. And then, of course, this live read does not appear on the NDI feed going out to your production switcher. This is exclusive to the inside of the SuiteCG MultiSport Scoreboard user interface. So, and then if you hide the sponsor, the live read goes away. This bug here does not respond to the carousel, so you have to manually select the sponsors that you want. Alternatively, to having this on the right side of the screen, you can display it on the left. And then you can also pick and choose which content you want to show. So if you only want the name and logo or the website, you can do that. And then likewise, for all of those for those multi-language, or I should say non-English speaking users, you can obviously, whatever language you use, you can enter all that information here. But then for the header here, you'll find a lot of our graphics are like this. You can change the custom wording. So I'll just put hello world there, and it changes to hello world. So we have options for not just the English speaking users, any language that you are native to, this system will work with. So I think that's all I have for now. Like I said, hope this is our last update video. We're just a couple weeks away, I think. So stay tuned for more information and release information particularly. Thank you very much. Bye.